Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pash On Podcast. Let's get started with your host, Brian Pash.
Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another podcast. On today's show, I have David Wren. He's the co-founder of Stream Companies. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Excited to chat.
David, you're kicking off a brand new series. Over the next 7 weeks, we're going to be talking about the changes in digital marketing strategies, retail strategies, as we lead up to the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference in the Napa Valley. There are going to be some dealers who recognize your company because of the OEM programs you're authorized to be in and just your great work in the industry. But for dealers who said, no, I don't know David Wren or Stream Companies, give me a thumbnail. How many years have you been in business?
Well, Brian, I think that you've been in the business a long time. My business partner, Brennan and I started Stream 23 years ago while we were still...
You're a veteran.
Yes, while we were still in college in my mom's living room. I was a senior in college, he was a junior. And we've been at it ever since.
And you're located in Philadelphia area. Where are you located?
Yeah, Brian. So headquarters are in Malvern, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 miles west of the city. We also have a location in downtown Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Fort Lauderdale as well.
Wow, great. And for dealers who are not familiar with your scope of services, you've developed an industry-leading platform called the Full Throttle Platform. And when we use the term a full service advertising agency for dealers, what does that mean to you? Because dealers have heard that term, and while it could mean anything to anybody, how do you describe to dealers what Stream Companies can provide to provide a complete omni-channel marketing solution?
Yeah, Brian, I think that I'll kind of define Stream first. We are truly fully integrated traditional digital creative strategy, which in the automotive industry doesn't exist in too many places. So we always like to say it's truly one throat to choke.
Right.
So we manage our clients and relationships from a partnership approach where we work with owners and GMs and corporate teams to put their entire strategy together, what channels we're going to use, and everything's based on data. And what channels we're going to use comes down to what does that particular market look like from a competitive standpoint, what is the brand that we represent, and where are the opportunities that lie within that market. So in terms of media choices, we are agnostic for our dealer clients. It's all about results for us.
Well, being in business so long, and I'm just celebrating 15 years in digital marketing in automotive, we've seen so many changes. We've seen early gaming with Google and SEO in the early 2000s. We saw, obviously, in 2000, Google Ads was first released, then called AdWords. We've seen social media. We've seen video advertising become very, very complicated as the cord cutting and, well, these streaming services have all evolved. Dealers look back fondly when they say, man, it used to be so easy, David. I did my radio buy, my TV buy, my newspaper buy, I did direct mail, and I was done. I could focus on my business. How are you making it easier for dealers to handle now, instead of say 4 or 5 marketing channels, maybe the 20 different channels that are available to them today?
Yeah, Brian, we use the term "it used to be easy" all the time, and so do our dealers feel the same way. There's so many choices. There's pressure from the OEM and so many vendors out there that we really like to boil it down and say, clients, we need to be good at something. We can't be good at everything because we don't have an unlimited budget. So what channel and tactics are going to be able to increase your opportunities to sell more cars? And that's what it comes down to for us. So when we talk about, we just don't want to check off the box that, I'm doing traditional media, I'm doing paid search, I'm doing retargeting, I'm doing social, I'm doing video, I'm doing all these things so I can say that I'm doing everything. We want to make sure that our clients are able to move the needle. And that comes back to strategy. So our team of digital strategists, traditional media strategists, work together in an omni-channel approach to come up with a plan that makes the most sense for a client based on their goals and based on their budget. And we consistently and measure, are we moving the needle? Are we driving more website visits? Are we driving more leads? Are we driving more showroom traffic? And then once we have those KPIs in place, we're really able to make changes on that monthly budget based on the data and the results, where we're succeeding and where there's additional opportunities. So that's kind of the approach that we take is, you can't be everywhere.
Well, it is a common question that dealers ask, like, how much money, do you recommend I spend? And I'm like, well, it's not that simple of a question. It's not like, oh, you're a dealer who sells so many cars. There are some complexities in local market trends, competition, whether they're in a rural market or a metropolitan market. But as we approach the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, we like to introduce new ideas, things that not every agency is offering dealers, and we dive into that. And so, David, as you think of some of the breakthroughs that have happened in your business, let's just say in the last 6 months, what is one thing that you think most dealers aren't doing, but you're doing really well for your customers that would maybe perk the ears of a dealer who's looking for more efficient marketing?
Right, great question. And we've been fortunate. For the last 5 years, we've been developing our full throttle, full technology stack. We've got a product that some might have heard of called Shopper Suite. That's a very successful product for our business, which does anonymous website identification, full marketing automation for our clients. And as this crisis has really shut down a lot of our clients in numerous markets, we've had both individual dealerships and OEMs turn to us to be able to utilize our Shopper Suite platform so that while they're shut down or while they're operating in a limited capacity, they're collecting all this valuable data on their website platform, which allows them to see this data down to a household level and see their entire shopper visit from the first time that they've been on a website to the last time. We can see that entire customer journey. If they're looking at new cars, if they're looking at used cars. So that data has really put us in a very favorable light in the market. And since the crisis hit us, we've added over 1,000 dealers to the platform. So it's been quite remarkable for us the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's dive into this because over the last few years, I've been talking about the power of anonymized data and that you need an advanced tech stack to be able to identify an anonymous shopper and then using the dealer's own data and third-party data to match it back to a household. Now, in the past, some of the companies that were out there, I was a little concerned about. They were a little creepy. And, dealers, since they are making money and one of the larger retailers in most communities, they're a target of lawsuits. And one of the things I was very, very nervous about in some of these anonymous tools is the privacy statement on the dealer's website compliant? Is the PII protected? And so when you and I were talking last week in preparation for this, I was so excited to hear the growth and the sophistication of this. So let me set the record straight for dealers. Most agencies run advertising campaigns that drive people to the website, and the only thing you get is a session or a visit. Now, with the Shopper Suite technology, you can say, I know someone from this household visited. And that could allow you to do a direct mail piece or an email piece, even though they didn't fill out a form, which is basically the holy grail, right? For dealers, if somebody visits my site, I'm going to assume that they're interested in buying a car or servicing their car. I'd like to know who they are. Is that a best way to describe you're helping connect the anonymous shopper who has interest with the dealer to a true marketing opportunity?
Brian, you nailed it. you got it. That's exactly what we do. So the full throttle tech stack, really starts with this first party data. So the way that we look at a dealership group or individual rooftop is we've got first party data from the DMS. So we've got all the past transactional data for sales, for new and used, as well as all the service history. Then we've got the CRM data for those that have submitted a lead, but we know that enrichment profile is usually, a lot of times it's just an email address or sometimes a incorrect phone number. And then we've got the website data. So with Full Throttle, we do two things with the website data. We utilize advanced geolocation technology as well as our data management platform to be able to look at a good portion of those website visits, anywhere from 50 to 70% in normal times. Right now, that number is increased to like 90%. So people are sharing things even greater right now during COVID-19, and that allows us to collect real household shopper visits on a website. We all, we love Google Analytics just like you, but it only gives us so much. With Shopper Suite, we know when it's a real person, and we can identify them down to a household level. And the great part about that is once we're able to do that, then we get their entire URL history. So they could have been shopping at home or at work, and we bring those visits together in one complete profile that allows us to see the entire URL history and activity of that shopper. Then we take it from an activation level, and we're sending them, an email communication within 24 hours, a direct mail message within 24 to 48 hours, as well as what we refer to as household influence. So we're then influencing that entire household with video, with social, and display, because we know it's not just one person usually making that car buying decision.
So David, this may resonate with some dealers who have kind of scratched their head. How come this ad popped up in my video stream? Is someone listening to, me? But a lot of times, right, we visit a website. Through technology, you can match back the geolocation or the household. And now, since you have integrated with a lot of the OTT platforms, you can actually put ads in front of people's homes, whether they're on Hulu or Amazon Fire or Spectrum or Effective, because you know the household, right? And you can target that household with relevant ads.
Yes, Brian, and the power of our data management platform within the Full Throttle Suite allows us to do that, really anonymous identification, that data enrichment down to a household level, the people within that household and the devices within that household. So it really gives us a complete profile of all the people that are living in those households, and then we influence them. And like you said, I know we all think Facebook and other things are listening to us because we're talking about something with our wife, and the next thing you know, we get an ad. But again, it's about that demonstrated behavior, collecting the data, and then being able to serve the right ad at the right time for our clients.
Let me take this in a different way, and I don't want to name or create any fights between companies, but your tech stack is integrated obviously with Google Ads and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and the OTT providers, email, direct mail, really truly omni-channel. And there was a movement over the last year. People were saying self-serve advertising. Dealers can come in and we have this, eliminate the middleman, come in and self-serve. And I scratched my head and I said, advertising, I don't care whose dashboard or whose tech stack, still has a lot of decision making, still has a lot of hand holding. There's still the creative element. There's still the measurement access. Can't imagine a dealer creating an omni-channel ad strategy by a self-serve like software as a service solution. What do you say to somebody who says, yeah, you don't need Stream, just come and use our dashboard and cut out the middleman? Is there such thing like in reality?
Brian, I don't think so. I mean, there's pieces you can do yourself, but to be able to put a strategy together, understand the data, all the channels that you're going to activate on, getting the creative together, being able to get the creative OEM approved, state approved, all these things that go into it, and then being able to execute and report on it. I certainly haven't seen anything out there that is really truly self-serve. There's parts of our Full Throttle that are self-serve or are automated, but whether it's Stream or your agency or any, we still need people to do things. We still need people to put the ads together and really be able to execute those campaigns and being able to execute it on a timely basis as well. And we know that speed is really important in retail automotive advertising, and we don't want to be waiting to the 12th or the 15th of the month to get our clients' campaigns right, and that's for sure.
So, David, the data automation integration to create an omni-channel message is really here. We've been talking about it for years. And there's an A word that comes up when these type of conversations happen. The dealer says, hey, David, come on, let me get this right. You take my DMS and your CRM and you have all this other data and it's all tied together. Does that allow you to tell me which marketing channels are helping me sell a car, which is the word attribution? When dealers are looking at which channels are more effective, they're effectively saying, how are you measuring marketing attribution? How do you discuss that with your clients?
Brian, another great point. With Shopper Suite platform, the great thing from a digital standpoint is we can see for all those visits that we're identifying, we can see again that entire URL history. So we can see, did they click on a paid search ad? Did they click on a retargeting ad, an email, a social ad? Did they come from a referral source such as cars.com or Car Gurus, etc.? So we can see that entire buyer and shopper journey. So we match that data back to the DMS. So if we've matched 50 sales, I can see the entire channel influence of those 50 sales. So did they click on multiple paid search ads? Did they come in from organic, or did they come in from organic local GMB? So we can see that entire profile and what influences them along the journey. And I think we all know it's not one size fits all. There's no one single source of attribution that sells a car. And I think just even more the power of our platform, not only can we see that influence with channels like paid search, we can see it even deeper. So we can see what keywords they clicked on that resulted in sales transactions. So that gives our clients either even further insight into the return on ad spend than most availability out in the market right now.
So David, let me ask a question. I'm going to put you on the spot here because people expect me to ask hard questions. When dealers hear that through technology you can reverse look up an anonymous visitor, which has been the holy grail. Dealers been saying, Brian, I get 40,000 people a month to my website, but how come I only get 300 leads, right? Okay, I mean, this is like a normal question, right? So since you have tech that seeks to determine who that anonymous person is, and you have access to the DMS, and you know who buys cars at the end of the day, if a dealer sold 200 cars this month, as an estimate, what percentage of those sales would your system match to a website visit, even if it was anonymous?
So, Brian, anywhere from on the low end 30% to the high end 70 or 80%. Depends on, if they're in a metro area, if they're in a rural area, what those, opt-in rates are for data sharing. But it gives us, way more than a statistically valid number of users that we can match data to over the extended period of time. So we can show our dealers, our OEM clients, this is what's influencing the sale.
Got it.
We will never, if someone from Stream ever says that this is the reason a car was sold, that is not how we operate. Not one thing sells a car, not one direct mail piece or one email or one digital ad exposure. And when you look at those profiles of those people that came in and bought cars, you will see that in many cases they shopped over multiple devices, and they clicked on paid search ads, they clicked on social ads, and they used organic probably the most across the board.
So what we're saying, and this is important because I want to clarify to our listeners, when someone says, hey, I have this technology and I can understand anonymous visitors, it's not perfect. And there's a lot of reasons why it's not perfect. But to be able to see which marketing channels influence 30, 40, 50% of your sales, you're right. It gives a direction, right, for marketing decisions. If you're spending a lot of money on a marketing channel and no one's influenced by it, right? Okay, that's not working. We get off that strategy. So it's very clear. I want to set the expectation that this is 100 times better than spraying and praying. But, due to privacy issues, data sharing issues, we're never going to know of the 40,000 visits, maybe representing 25,000 people, who all those 25,000 people are.
No, we're never going to know 100%. And I think with any data solution, that's the case, today. Our technology is much more accurate than a lot of the tech out there. We don't use IP addresses. We don't use MAIDs or mobile IDs, which, again, a lot of the technology out there revolves around that. Our platform has a different layer of sophistication with our homegrown, tech that we built. Also, a robust data management platform that allows us to get a higher match rate and a much more enriched profile of what a household looks like. So that's really the power to our clients. So there's twofold. We've got the whole marketing automation that's automatically built into the system that works 24 hours, 7 days a week. And then we've got the business intelligence and analytics, which allows us to get deeper insights into what channels are influencing shoppers and buyers during their journey, and also how much time they are spending shopping. And I think that this is a very key point, because as marketers, a lot of times we just want to put everyone into boxes, right? Everyone's buying within 5 days, so I don't need to do anything once I get them to my website, which we know is not the case. People really fall into two distinct buckets: those that need a car now and those that are going to take their time shopping. And it's our job as marketers to be able to make sure that we're influencing those shoppers, because guess what? None of us know right away if you're in the 5-day bucket or if you're in the 30-day bucket. So it takes time to really understand the data and then to build intelligence around that data so you can spend the dealership's dollars more effectively.
I have one last thought that popped into my head. with dealer groups who have a lot of stores in one market. Okay, so there are a number of dealers who are going to be listening to this podcast. When I think of a group like the Pohanka Group, which is in that Virginia, DC, Maryland area, or the Jeff Weiler Automotive Group in Ohio. Okay, there are groups that have a lot of stores in one area, and they have a group portal, and a lot of traffic sometimes is directed to the group portal. But what I see is a lot of waste because the stores seem to be competing with each other. Would you say that a 10-store group in a kind of concentrated metro market even sees greater efficiencies because you could see cross-shopping trends within the dealer sites? You can develop more rich profiles and better targeting because you can see how they shop, not just on the one site, but within all of the sites within a group.
Brian, yeah, you would be amazed at how much cross-brand shopping that you see within dealer groups, especially when they own 5 to 10 stores on the same stretch of highway. Where the Hyundai store is competing with the Nissan store for the same shopper, and that it happens every day. And I think sometimes dealers want to think, well, once I got them into my funnel, they're going to stay in my funnel, and that's not the case. Buyers are all over the place. They're looking at new cars, they're looking at used cars, and you can see that behavior. And buyers act a lot differently than people just browsing. We always go, dealerships and say, hey, what's my bounce rate? What's my average, pages per session? But when you look at buyers are shopping at a much higher level than those people that might have just clicked on an ad because they were interested at that moment of time, and then they bounced or whatever. So the more data that we collect for a client over a greater amount of time allows us to make smarter decisions for that client, and also making sure that whether we have a group message or do we want to really compete against each store, because in that case we're just spending the same dollars and we're bidding up budgets for clients. So that's a great question, and I think one that dealers probably don't even really understand how much their rooftops are competing with each other and increasing their ad costs.
Yeah, I've seen that with a lot of stores from the same group, and each store is running their own used car ads instead of the group site running the used car ads, and then the leads would go to which store, had the car on their lot. There's a lot of waste like that. David, I'm so excited that you're going to be coming to DMSC in July and bringing some amazing results. You're bringing one of your clients with you that can talk about the success they've had. But when you think of the cost savings now, when dealers have a more data-driven approach, have you been able to kind of come up with a general guideline that when you take over a store that's not using a data-driven strategy, is it they're saving 20% or 30% on their marketing budget and getting the same results? What kind of efficiencies, right? Sometimes dealers say, well, I'm kind of happy with my agency. They're kind of old school. They're not using tech. I'm going to stay with them. What kind of efficiencies would you anticipate if you sat down with a dealer in Napa, showed them your suite of tools, showed them the data, and they're going to say, David, okay, I'm spending $40,000 a month on my marketing. How much more efficient are you going to make that spend? How do you answer that question?
Brian, first thing we tell them is you're not going to know day one how much more efficient you can make that spend. We've got assumptions based on previous clients, but it's so important that dealers realize our number one goal for them is to get more of their fair share of their market, and to take that $40,000 and really dial it in. And when I mean dial it in, I'll use the easiest example of paid search. It's right now, it's probably where the largest percentage of a dealer's budget goes to paid search. And we all know that it's easy to misalign metrics with paid search. So our goal is we want to drive incremental business with our paid search campaign. So you look at a dealer's campaign and say, hey, how much are they really spending on their own name? And that's one of the first things that we look at. It's one of the first things we looked at for years, is to say, if I'm spending $10,000 a month on paid search, how much is going to that? Is it 10%, 20%, 30%? Because again, our goal is to drive new traffic and pull that new traffic through the funnel and get them to turn into new customers. So with the Shopper Suite platform, like I mentioned before, we're able to see down to the keyword level of what traffic we're driving and what traffic's generating sales. So our goal is to become more efficient and either deploy those dollars into mid-funnel or higher funnel terms with paid search, or to test out other channels to again drive incremental sales for the dealership. So our goal is always to optimize budgets to get more for our clients, find the inefficiencies within their budgets, and then also, Brian, as I know you and I have talked about before, is the dealer doing too many things and not spending enough money or investing in enough in certain channels? And that's what we find more so now than ever is, a budget used to maybe have 5 to 10 line items on it. Now these budgets that we see have 20 to 30 line items, and that's just, we're trying to do too much and we're not dominating any one or two things. So we want to dominate, we want to get efficiencies, and we want to drive results for our clients.
That's such a great point, and I think it's under discussed is that social media can be a very effective channel. And I see some dealers like, hey, what are you doing for social media? Oh, we're throwing $500 in or $300. And I'll be like, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that was a good spend. And not anymore. There's more fish swimming in the pool. David, I am looking forward to your presentation at DMSC. I am really excited to be able to showcase the latest strategies in digital marketing. We're going to be bringing the best of the best to the show. So dealers who are looking for greater accountability, a more data-driven strategy, a dashboard or technology that covers the journey through all of the media channels, it will be a great time for them to come out, have a glass of wine, and get a demo of the technology suite. So, David, for dealers who can't make it out to DMSC and miss all that fun, what's the best way for someone to learn more about your tech platform, the Shopper Suite tools, the full throttle platform?
Yeah, Brian, I'm always available. As most people know in this industry, I'm very hands-on. So david@streamcompanies.com is my email. You can feel free to visit streamcompanies.com, or we are fullthrottle.com, which is our technology platform. You can submit a request on either one of the websites, and someone from our team will get back to you. But if you want to talk strategy or have any specific questions, feel free to email me, again, david@streamcompanies.com.
Great. Well, David, thank you so much for your time today. And if this is the first time you're listening to a podcast, you should know that every Monday I release a new discussion with automotive leaders, innovators, technology platforms, anything that I believe is helping automotive retail grow and achieve greater success. The upcoming Digital Marketing Strategies Conference is July 12th, 13th, and 14th. And this year, we have a bonus session. Premium ticket holders can come in a day early, and I'll be teaching my popular digital retailing, marketing, and merchandising workshop all day on Saturday. And my brother Glenn will be teaching sales communication and CRM strategies for digital retailing. That's just an extra bonus because with the COVID crisis, there's been a lot of focus and people jumping in to a modern retail approach. So we wanted to offer those additional workshops. Of course, check out the schedule. You'll see the best of the best is coming out to the Napa Valley. And by the time July rolls around, we're all going to need a glass of wine. So take a look at all of the past episodes. You can go to brianpash.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com. Or you could just search for the Pash On podcast on the iTunes channel, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, or any of the other podcast streaming channels. Thank you so much for taking your time today, and we look forward to spending time with you on an upcoming podcast session.